Alright, my camera's back, which means I can do videos like this again. So we're going to be looking at a much more interesting weapon in the game known as the Glaive Prime, because Glaives are pretty damn strong. Here we are in the simulacrum with Mag Prime. So this is going to be a bit more of a, I guess, concentrated, more dedicated way of playing with the Glaive Prime by using a mod called Power Throw. So the idea is, if you look at the top right hand corner, there is a ×3 right now. That is my Power Throw counter, which I just screwed up, so we have to do it again. The idea is, if I can continue to do consecutive throws, then my Glaive will do more damage. At the moment, it's doing 300% more damage, I believe. I just screwed it up. But as you can see, it does a lot of damage, so that is definitely one way that you can play with the Glaive Prime. So let's have a look at the build that I am using with the Glaive Prime, and this is the build that I am using with the Glaive Prime. It is a one-former build that is known as the Bouncy build. So the idea is, of course, we're using power throws, so with some consecutive throws, I get an extra 100% throw damage, which of course is going to stack on top of the amount of damage that my Glaive Prime already does, so that makes it really, really good. We're also going to be using Blood Rush, Amalgam Organ Shatter, because this kind of a build is really good for just stacking a lot of the combo counter, especially if we have a lot of enemies, because we are going to be using something called Volatile Rebound. This is a 100% chance to explode on the bounce, which I believe also gives me some extra combo as well if I manage to hit a lot of enemies with that explosion, so that's going to be really, really good. We're also going to be going for a viral build for this one, and we're also using Healing Return and Prime Pressure Point. The reason why I want to use Prime Pressure Point is specifically because I find that it actually works a lot better with this as opposed to Condition Overload. I've tried it with Condition Overload, doesn't seem to be particularly useful. Now, if you want to have a much more easier experience of using the Glaive, then you may want to not use something like Power Throw. Power Throw, of course, really for those who are super duper dedicated to throwing the Glaive Prime on a near constant basis. Alternatives could include using something like the Electric 6060, which means that this particular build would be very good with someone like a Zephyr Prime. But of course, when you use an easier build, i.e. getting rid of Power Throw, you can then of course pair it with your normal weapons. So for example, we could do something like this, where we summon the enemies, we throw out our Glaive Prime, and then while we're waiting for the Glaive Prime to come back, why not attack with your primary weapon as well? At that point, you just basically throw it out, and then you just let it roll. You don't really care where your Glaive Prime is going. It's there doing its own damage, so that's cool. It's picking up its own combo meter, that's cool. If you want some true synergy, then pairing this up with something like a Scourge would be fantastic, because the Scourge, of course, is really, really good at producing a lot of viral and corrosive procs as well. And at that point, you could potentially use something like Condition Overload if you want. But as you can see, the idea is to basically throw out the Glaive, let it do its own thing, and then kill him with your Paris Prime. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. This is of course a really, really powerful build for the Glaive, and it's of course a 1-4 build, so it does make it a little bit more straightforward, but we are using some very specialized mods for this weapon. Ultimately, I think this is a really, really good weapon for anyone who just wants to have a melee weapon that they can throw out and then just go ham with your regular weapons instead. But if you want a much more dedicated build for the Glaive Prime, even more dedicated than just a dedicated throwing build, then you may want to try and figure out a way of putting in something like Prime Fury, because without Prime Fury, your basic attacks with your melee weapon are going to be a little pretty sluggish. But outside of that, I definitely recommend this weapon, and I think a lot of the Glaives or Glaive type weapons, thrown melee weapons, are actually pretty strong at the present moment, specifically because of the abilities that you are granted by the use of certain mods. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. What do you think about Glaives? Do you use Glaives a lot? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.